welcome to the Deep Dive. So for, 2 decades, people have been talking about this book, right? Kind of shrouded in mystery.
Yeah, a long time coming.
Exactly. But the wait is finally over. Beginning 2. And publishing has just released Saint Markus Unleashed, 20 years.
Incredible. And we're diving right in, aren't we? Straight into chapter 1.
You know it. That's what we do here. Chapter 1. It's titled Demonism.
Demonism doesn't exactly ease you in, does it? It kicks off with this quote, attributed to Saint Markus himself, "I am going the way of all the earth." And then right below it, Saint Markus the Devil's Bible. So yeah, it sets a pretty clear tone from the get-go.
Definitely not your average read. I think we can safely say that. Okay, so let's get into it. We're hit immediately with this character, a demon named Morbosai.
Morbosai, yeah. And he doesn't waste any time. Basically says, I'm here on Earth and I'm never leaving.
Wow. Talking about making an entrance. What's the deal with him?
Well, he claims he's both diurnal and nocturnal, active day and night.
So no breaks. That sounds intense. Does it suggest he's like more powerful or something?
It could, yeah. Or maybe just a different type of demon, unbound by typical limits, perhaps.
Okay. And he's not planning on just floating around, is he? He mentions needing a host.
Exactly. Demons, according to him, need a host body to gain power. They sort of feed on the soul, like a parasite.
Right. Okay. But here's the really wild part, I thought. His goal isn't just possession.
No, it's much bigger than that. His ultimate ambition is to create himself a demon, but in human vampire form.
A human vampire form. Why that specifically?
He sees it as the peak of demonic power. It lets them blend into human society totally unnoticed. It's not just about hiding. It seems to be about a specific kind of power and integration.
That's chilling. Blending in. And he connects this to weird experiences people have.
Yeah, he does. Like those sudden chills you get, or cold spots in a room. Or, waking up suddenly, sitting bolt upright.
I've definitely had that happen.
Yeah. Morbos claims that could be a demon trying to, push its way into your body, trying to bump out your soul, as he puts it, especially when you're in deep sleep.
Yikes. Okay, that's unsettling. It makes you rethink those little things.
And he gives them a name, possessors. Demons like him sent from hell. You might sense them, he says, through those cold spots or bad smells or just that feeling of being watched.
And they can read minds and sense vulnerability.
Apparently, just constantly scanning, probing for weaknesses. It's a pretty creepy image.
But he also says humans aren't really meant to see or touch them, that it's rare.
Very rare, yeah. He calls them silent killers, which just adds to that feeling of this hidden, dangerous reality operating just beneath the surface,
Totally. He's basically promising to pull back the curtain, show us this darker side of the world that he thinks humanity is, quote, blinded to.
And he's got a human identity ready to go, right?
Yeah, Marcus Antony Marbello.
Yeah.
Alongside his demon name, the Morbid One. It's like a cover.
And he explicitly links vampires and demons. Says any human vampire is inherently demonic.
Which makes sense for his plan then. Becoming a vampire is becoming the ultimate demon in his view. And writing this book is supposedly about revealing all this.
He even throws in a Bible quote, I Timothy 4.1, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils.
Using scripture against itself almost. Coming from a demon, that's pointed.
It is. And he mentions time, too. Nearly 2,000 years since Christ's crucifixion. He calls himself an adult demon, highly evolved.
Highly evolved and highly ambitious. He's got this whole plan worked out, apparently, to be the first living vampire of his kind. And it all culminates in 1963.
Meticulously planned, yeah. Everything leading up to 1963.
And he mentions luck, which is kind of funny for a demon planning everything.
Yeah, a bit ironic. He says he didn't used to believe in it, but finds it helpful. His original idea was quite specific.
Right, the farm boy in Maine thing.
Exactly. Be born into a big, busy farm family in Maine. He figured it'd be easier to transform into a vampire without anyone noticing. Lots of kids, remote location.
The perfect cover. And he studied the family, the Marbellos.
For 7 years, he lays out why he chose them. Busy parents, lots of kids, animals everywhere, and way out there in Mattawamkeag, Maine. Isolation was key.
And he gives us descriptions of the parents he chose. Bill Marbello, the father. Doesn't sound great.
Not at all. Medium height, average build, dark hair, glasses, bald. But also quick movements, loud voice. Hard worker, but apparently hated the animals, saw them just as business.
And the personality.
Strict, loud, played favorites, lied to stir things up, away a lot, promiscuous, weak-willed, bad temper, lustful. Morbos basically says Bill was begging for evil to come into his life.
Wow. So, not a random choice. He saw an opening.
Seems like it. Then there's Marion, the mother. Used to be a beauty, brown eyes, dark hair, now shorter, plumper after having kids.
How's she described?
Soft-spoken, religious, a bit of a prankster, but also totally blinded by love for Bill. Her life is basically having babies on the farm.
And this is where we hear about her writings, her vademecum.
Yes, her personal handwritings. The book says we'll get her words, unfiltered, unedited.
Which would be fascinating, right? Her perspective versus Morbose's.
Absolutely. A completely different viewpoint. Okay, so Morbose picks his night to possess Bill.
Yeah, sets the scene. Foggy, misty night in Mattawamkeag. Two-story farmhouse, attic, basement. Classic spooky setting.
He can't see well in the fog, but he's totally focused on getting Bill's soul.
And he's picking up sounds from inside. Hears Bill's heart. He even hears Bill making Marion stand over the kids with a whip, telling them not to have fun.
That's horrible.
Yeah, really disturbing detail. And he notices Marion smoking alone by the fireplace, hiding it.
He also talks about the smell of demons.
Uh-huh. A putrid smell, especially when they're weak. Says it fades when they get a host, but might linger, like as bad breath or BO. A very physical, unpleasant detail.
And he travels through the woods to get there, along the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah, to avoid the farm dogs. Smart, I guess. But as he gets closer, he starts feeling anxious. Senses something is wrong. Very wrong, he says. Even a demon gets bad vibes. Yeah. That builds the tension.
Totally. He hates deviations from his plan. He gets to the basement window, but it's locked from inside. A small snag.
How does he get in?
Very carefully. Put slow pressure on the latch screws until they give way. Doesn't want to make noise.
At the basement.
Huge old wooden window for potatoes, canned goods, furnace, rickety plank steps with no backs or railing, damp, musty, dripping water. Standard creepy basement.
Then he gets into the kitchen and brings that rotten smell with him.
And
Oh.
unexpected encounter, 4-year-old Jared is there, and Lobo, the dog,
The white German shepherd with the blue eyes. Wasn't he supposed to be outside?
usually slept in the tool shed, yeah. So big surprise. Morbose immediately ducks back onto the basement steps. He knows Lobo can smell him.
This is definitely not going according to plan.
Oh, yeah.
He then reminds us of the plan, right?
Yeah.
Possess Bill, transfer to Marion via semen, and then be born as a living vampire baby.
And Marion is 6 months pregnant at this point, with a boy. Crucial timing. It means he can feed on Bill's soul until the baby's born and he can get himself conceived.
Okay, then the narrative shifts dramatically. We jump to Marion's vademecum.
Right. Forward in time to 1997, Stockton, Missouri, a year before she dies of cancer. The contrast is jarring.
How so?
We go from Morbose's calculated demonic plot to Marion's reality. And it's bleak. She's in this trashy trailer, severely depressed, living with a new guy, Weasel.
The description of the trailer is rough.
Really rough. Toilets falling through the floor, mud dauber nests, overflowing cat box, sick kittens, risk of scabies, water running under it when it rains. Just grim.
And she's reflecting on her life.
Yeah. 11 kids, 2 miscarriages, 1 stillborn, divorce, cancer. She wanted a big family, but feels like she got a big mess. So much regret.
There's that detail about her wanting to erase mistakes with a pencil, but never doing it. Writing the truth.
Powerful, isn't it? Her first entry starts so innocently. This all began in September 1953 when I met a wonderful man. Met Bill at church when she was just 16. He was 10 years older.
And she fell hard for him.
Totally. Easy to talk to, married him 9 months later, put him on a pedestal, thought he could do no wrong, admits they fought but made up, thought their love life was wonderful, with that little note, or so I thought.
Oof. Hindsight. And their first child.
Jackie, born February 1955, their pride and joy, a moment of seeming happiness.
Then we snap back to Morbose, June 1st, 1962.
Back to the farm, 4 kids running around, 1 inside Marion, chaos, kids go to school, Marion goes shopping, Bill's on the tractor, normal day.
Until Lobo the dog acts up again.
Exactly, senses Morbose behind the basement door, whimpering, scratching, barking.
And Morbose just deals with him.
Brutally. Opens the door, Lobo freezes seeing his true form. Morbose kicks him hard, dog runs off, terrified, shows his power, his lack of empathy.
Then Morbose goes exploring upstairs.
Finds a little door to stairs leading up to the attic, right above Marion and Bill's room. Perfect hiding spot. He waits for night.
Time passes slowly for him. Evening comes, chores, supper, homework, prayers. Everyone goes to bed.
He waits in the attic for deep sleep. Hears a faint noise, but it disappears. Then he opens the window, goes out onto the porch roof.
To peek in the windows, what's he looking for?
Looking for Bill, but he sees Marion sleeping alone. and he's furious. Bill isn't there, and dreaming is supposedly the best time for possession.
So now he's determined to get Bill tonight, no matter what, even risking daylight.
That's what he thinks, yeah. He checks the other windows. Spare room, Jackie's room, the boys' room.
And in Jackie's room.
He sees it. Bill is in bed with Jackie, molesting her. The description is awful. Jackie trying to look away.
Oh, God. That's horrific.
And then the really chilling part. Bill turns, looks right at Morbose on the roof, and his eyes have a slight greenish glow.
Whoa. Okay, what does that mean?
We'll get to that, but first we jump back to Marian's vademecum again.
Right, she's found a new notebook, living with Weasel, resents sharing him with his wife and daughter back in Michigan, but still loves him.
And inside this notebook, she's taped a list. Potential book titles.
The titles themselves are heartbreaking.
Aren't they? Things you just don't know. How bad can it be? Married Bliss versus Living Hell. Marriage Gone Bad.
How incest makes you feel. Incest in El Dramley. My life with incest starred. A family broke apart. The ninth line blank. Just raw pain.
Yeah. She apparently puts her pencil down and just sobs after writing them. You feel her misery.
Then she writes about Jackie's friend, Sherry.
Yes. Sherry told Marian that Jackie said Bill was molesting her. And Marian refused to believe it, got angry, dismissed Sherry. Because she loved Bill, because he called her every night at 10. Denial.
Which makes what Morbose saw even more concrete
Oh.
and awful. Okay, back to Morbose. What about that eye glow?
Morbose explains it. Demons can shield their minds from each other, but their presence in a human or animal. It can show up as an unnatural eye glow.
So Bill
Bill was already possessed by another demon named Rashma, described as vengeful, immature, a demon of chaos, a poisonous presence.
Wow, okay. That's what Morbose sensed was wrong earlier.
Exactly. He's furious. He thought Bill's body was, available. Now there's competition, a huge complication. Bill isn't just a flawed human. He's a host already.
So what can Morbose do? He needs Bill's body for his plan.
Right. He knows he's stronger than Rashma, could probably kick him out, but he worries a fight might make Bill harm himself, which ruins the plan. But sharing a body with another demon, risky.
Can demons feed on each other?
Morbose thinks so, if one is more powerful. And he's convinced he's way stronger than Rashma. He's determined to become a vampire no matter what. But then there's this line. While Morbose plotted, Rashma had also been doing his homework.
Ooh, so Rashma might know Morbose is there. Or have his own agenda.
It hints at that, yeah. Intrigue. Then another quick dip into Marian's vademecum.
What's this bit about?
Her meeting Bill at 16, being a virgin, admits they had sex before marriage, but isn't ashamed because she loved him so much.
Then more about early married life. Fixing up a house, buying the farm.
Her love for kids and animals. Second baby, Matthew, born in 56. Bill's money problems. Him going back to construction work on the road, hiring farm help. But Marian's still devoted.
Okay, back to Morbose again. Night falls. Chores done.
Bill tucks the kids in, says prayers with them. Then Marian goes to bed early, exhausted from the pregnancy.
And Bill, after saying prayers,
Gets out of bed naked, careful not to wake Marian, goes to the bathroom, and then heads to the hired hand's room, Joe's room.
seriously, the hypocrisy.
Morbose notes Bill's lechery, saying it's fueled by Rashma's gluttony. We learn Joe is just a poor kid from Illinois, liked working there, probably clueless.
Does Morbose sense Rashma acting up now?
He senses Rashma is there, but not actively using power. Morbose wonders if Rashma even knows that the upper body, the conscious mind, holds full control.
So Morbose still thinks he's in charge, potentially.
He considers forcing Rashma out again, but holds back, feeling harmed to Bill. Decides he'll just crush Rashma if he interferes. He thinks Rashma's quietness is a sign of respect, of knowing Morbose is stronger.
Arrogant, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, one more Vitae Mecum section.
Yeah. Birth of the third child, Jason, in 57. Bill spoils him, causes rivalry with Matthew. Fourth child, Jared, born in 58. This is when Marian starts smoking to lose weight, fails, regrets the habit now. Notes Bill smoked and chewed, but disapproved of her smoking.
Double standard.
Totally. And then the fifth child, Jacob, born July 1962. That makes 4 boys.
Which brings Morbose's narrative up to about the 1st of July, 1962.
Right. Nice weather, farm life humming along, birds, foals growing. Marian's very pregnant, uncomfortable, can barely move. But Bill does nothing to ease her workload.
And then her sister arrives, Aunt Linda.
Aunt Linda comes to help with the birth. First time she's done it for this family. Marian was too proud before.
What's Linda like?
Tall, sturdy, blunt, bossy, loud, funny, wears pantsuits to church, which Morbos calls unethical. Apparently similar to Bill in some ways, backstabbing, plays favorites, likes Jackie, not the boys, but helpful to Marion. Morbos hints she might have other motives for being there, maybe wanting to keep Bill close.
More family drama. Then Marion goes into labor.
Bill and Joe are working. Bill comes in to fix a mower and check on Marion. Just as her labor pains start, she cries out, "Bill!"
It's go time.
Bags are packed. Aunt Linda and Jackie help Marion to the car. Other kids are shocked. Linda tries to distract them with Pop. Bill drives off fast towards Bangor.
The moose incident.
Nearly hits a moose on I-95. Adds to the drama. Marion's in agony. Water breaks in the car.
She apologizes for wetting the seat.
Yeah, and Bill's just like, "Don't worry about it." Dismissive. They get to the ER. Bill rushes in. Nurses come out.
Okay, almost done with the chapter. We get one last Vave Make-em bit.
Marion reflects on Bill's swearing during his work calls. How he'd say, "How in the hell are you?" instead of just, "How are you?" She hated his language. And notes he was never there for the births after Jackie.
More neglect. And another Bible quote.
Matthew 15:11. "Not that which goeth into the mouth defileth a man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth a man." Seems aimed right at Bill's language and maybe his whole character.
And the chapter ends at the hospital, with Morbos watching.
Yeah. Morbos sees Bill's reaction when they arrive. Bill snaps at Marion. "Damn it, Marion, why in hell didn't you wait like I damn well told you to?" Just awful. Nurses take over. Bill checks her in.
And then Anne.
Then he just leaves. Drives straight home. Doesn't wait. Doesn't stay with her.
Wow. What an ending to the first chapter. So, okay, wrapping up our first look at Saint Markus Unleashed. We met Morbos, this demon, with a truly disturbing plan.
Yeah, targeting the Marbella family, only to find Bill's already got a demon, Rashma, riding shotgun.
Big complication.
And that dual narrative, Morbos' calculating viewpoint smashed against Marion's vade-mecum, her raw, heartbreaking reality. It's incredibly effective, chilling, really.
It absolutely is. You get the supernatural plot, but it's grounded in this very real, very dark human tragedy unfolding through Marion's words.
And this first chapter alone drops some heavy bombs. Demonic possession, sure, but also the incest, the deep dysfunction, glimpsed by Morbos, hinted at by Marion. There's such a heavy sense of darkness already. Definitely. Which leaves you wondering, right? Morbos' plan is supposed to peak in 1963. Marion's about to give birth. How is this collision between the demonic and the, frankly, already damaged human world going to play out?
What other secrets are buried in that family? What happens when Morbos really makes his move, especially with Rashma in the picture?
And considering the tragic tone already coming through Marion's writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. This first chapter, Demonism, it feels like we've only just peered into a very, very dark abyss. Lots to think about.
Thank you.